as well, looking absolutely cracking as we speak. But SunPharma, that's the next company on our radar. Their revenue surged, margins were in line, and the US generic sales were above expectations. Ekta Batra caught up with Mr. Muralidharan, the group CFO at SunPharma, and began by asking him if the company was in a position to increase their revenue guidance for the fiscal. Let's hear him out.
So at this point of time for FY24 fiscal, we maintain our revenue guidance of high single-digit growth.
Can you explain to us why is that the case? What are the trends that you're probably envisaging in the second half for you to probably stick to high single digits?
There are multiple markets with different dynamics at this point of time. So hence we would like to maintain our original guidance.
Okay. Well, let's narrow down to the US sales for this quarter then. It was in line with estimates at around $420 million. It dipped Q on Q as expected. How did Revlimid generic contribute this quarter? How much did the base business contribute? And if you could just detail key factors such as price pressure, how did that play out?
As far as the quarter is concerned, there were some sales of Revlimid. However, it was not a major contributor. And the sales of Revlimid is episodic, as we have shared earlier. As regards the pricing in the market is concerned, the pricing continues to be competitive and it is more product specific.
Okay. All right. Given all of these factors and the fact that Revlimid generic could probably be episodic in terms of contribution, there is price pressure. How exactly would the US sales pan out on a quarterly basis? Are we working with this as a base of $420 million for the next 2 quarters as well?
We do not specifically comment on any individual region or the sales on those guidance. However, what we can say is that the growth is driven by our specialty business. In the quarter, of course, we did about $240 million with 19.3% growth over corresponding quarter previous year. And H1, we did about $471 million specialty business globally with 20.2% growth. So I think we are well poised to perform well and meet our guidance.
Okay. Now, coming down to the specialty sales, $240 million is what you've clocked in this quarter. What were the prescription trends like for your key drugs such as Cipla, Winlevi, as well as Ilumya?
So Ilumya, Cipla, Winlevi, all have shown positive and they have very strong prescriptions, which is clearly demonstrated in not only in the quarterly revenues, but also H1 FY24 revenues of $471 million globally, growing at 20%. And we are excited about these key products in the specialty portfolio.
Okay. You remain extremely confident on the specialty portfolio outlook. This is something that you all spoke about on the conference call as well. Can you detail to us what it looks like? What does it comprise of? When are new products probably going to be launched?
So we are excited about the specialty pipeline. We have shared the current phase, what we are and what are the next milestones. And these products, what we have shared, we believe have good potential as and when it comes to the market.
Okay. Now, for FY24, is it fair to assume that specialty sales will probably be around $950 million in terms of an exit run rate, considering that you've done $470 million in the first half already?
See, we are not commenting exactly on the specialty revenue guidance for the FY24 fiscal. However, you will recall that we did about $871 million full year last year, FY23. So this growth in specialty is factored as part of our overall revenue guidance of high single-digit growth.
Okay, all right. Coming to India, most of the companies, in fact, were impacted by what was weak acute sales this quarter. But you've grown in double digits, up around 11%. What worked for you? What's your guidance?
As far as India business is concerned, we have done well across various therapeutic segments. The growth is also driven by new products and contribution by volume and to some extent by price.
Okay, so are we expecting double-digit growth to continue in India for the second half?
I think India business growth is embedded in overall the group guidance given.
Okay. 26% margins. Is this a fair base to assume going forward?
We are not sharing any specific guidance for the margins, but having said that, if you look at the last 6 quarters, we have been trending around that number, and our focus on cost optimization continues.
All right. Will these margins probably be maintained even when opportunities such as Revlimid generic dwindle?
No, we are not commenting specifically on any EBITDA margin guidance at this point of time.
Okay. Can you give us some guidance on Taro, sir? Because, because of the Israel conflict, it is a company which is Israeli. Any kind of guidance, any kind of developments that you can share with us, any impact in terms of performance?
So, we would not like to share more than what Taro has shared at this point of time, being a public company. However, what we understand is that Taro is doing what out of best possible to keep the employee safety, and at this point of time, the business continuity is ensured.
Okay. What is the update on delisting?
Taro board has appointed a special committee to look into the proposal of Sun, and they are currently working on it.
Okay. All right. Any definitive date that we could hear something?
No. See, it's a public company, and the special committee is independent committee. They are working on it. So beyond that, we don't have also any update.
All right. What is the situation with Mohali as well as Halol? We understand that there was some positive developments on Mohali.
Yes, Mohali supplies have resumed in the quarter. We expect normal supply situation gradually to ramp up there. As far as the Halol is concerned, we are working on fully on the remediation at this point of time.
Okay, so when can we expect a possible re-inspection, or when will the Halol plant be ready for a re-inspection?
We do not wish to comment exact timeline. As you are aware that despite our remediation, we are working with the regulators. So it's very difficult to put any timeline for this.
Okay. All right. So before we let you go, Sun is a cash-rich company, and there's a lot of talk with regards to consolidation, M&A within the Indian pharmaceutical space. What are your plans when it comes to M&A, and what is the size that you're probably even looking at?
So any organization's growth is contributed both by organic and inorganic growth. We have do a war chest, cash chest we have in terms of net cash $1.9 billion as of September 23 end at a group level. We look at any opportunity compelling comes into our, which fits strategically into the company's objective vision, we'll definitely look into it.
Okay. Has the company considered something as big as Cipla?
We would not like to comment.
All right. The Group CFO of SunPharma does not comment on whether they're looking at Cipla as an opportunity or not. But meanwhile, the stock holding mildly in the green. Take a short break.